government will permit private schools to discriminate against LGBTIQ teachers and or staff and not employ them in their schools. Do you agree with this policy?
Look, that's not what we would do. I give my undertaking that the LGBTIQ plus community would not be discriminated ever under our government. What, in fact, we have said is that everybody, in terms of protection, should be protected. When we talk about schools and when we talk about religious institutions, we want to look at that protection that extends to people's political beliefs. But when it comes to widening things back in terms of discriminating, that's just not on. That's not something that I stand for. I absolutely would not want to see anything round back. And I give my undertaking when it comes to people that are employed, regardless of their sexual belief, their identity, whether they're from disability, from any background at all. No one should be discriminated against. That's my undertaking, and that's the way we would keep it. And, you know, our extension is to look at, in terms of religious protections, any change would be with absolute consultation. But let's be clear here. We do not believe that anyone should be discriminated against. We're enough of people being targeted. That's not what we're about. We support an inclusive community that doesn't discriminate against anybody. It's something that I've worked tirelessly for, and I will continue to do so, and that's not what our changes are about. Not at all. It's ensuring that everybody is protected, regardless of who you are and where you come from.
Look, I say honestly to you, David, I believe you. You know, you're a mensch, and I believe that is your position. But unfortunately, it's not the stated position of Matthew Guy, and it's not what was reported when he visited the Islamic Council of Victoria, and he made a commitment that religious schools would be able to discriminate against staff who applied to work at those schools based on their faith. Let's think about this for 1 second. A Jewish maths teacher goes to apply for a job at a Catholic school, and under the position that has been proposed by the Liberal Party of Victoria, of which David is the deputy leader, it would be legal to discriminate against that teacher because of his or her faith. And heaven help that person if they also happen to be from the LGBTIQ community. I think this is scary. I think this is taking us back to a situation where the Liberal Party, and I know you don't believe this person, but the Liberal Party is trying to sow the seeds of fear. And who are the targets? Minorities, people of the LGBTIQ community who have done it tough, very tough. And it really concerns me, and it is not the values of our Caulfield community.
No, I'm sorry. The only people are playing this out here is you. I mean, that is not our position. That is absolutely not our position. If you take your argument one step further of somebody that goes to a Muslim school that doesn't support an Islamophobe, that turns up to the school to test the system. I mean, that person, from a political perspective, the school should be able to protect themselves from that. And of course, we don't want a system where things are tested and are used for political expedience. That is not what this is about. We've given an assurity in terms of this has nothing to do with anybody's own belief in terms of their LGBTIQ plus element. We've said categorically that no one will be terminated, and no one will also, everyone should be hired. That's not the basis of what we're talking about. It's about protecting religious freedoms in a school, and if somebody wants to go out and deliberately want to target a school, which we have, I mean, let's take a white supremacist that turns up to a Jewish day school and wants to deliberately go in here and start hate within the school. That's just unacceptable. That is unacceptable.
Well, they put on a resume for the white supremacists.
Caulfield's a progressive electorate. We are in the federal seat of Macquarie. 82% of people voted in favour of same-sex marriage. It's the third highest in all elections. At the moment, the Australian Liberal Party has been well documented. It has a problem with their membership base. It's changing rapidly. Approximately about 13 to 15% of their members are Christian Mormons and Pentecostals. I've met lovely candidates. They're lovely people, you meet them. They have horrible politics. They don't reflect our politics in Caulfield. They bring a very scary fringe right position, and when they get elected, that will become the position. David's a bench, and David has good politics, but unfortunately David's going to have to contend with a party room who's not aligned with his politics and is not aligned with the people of Caulfield. So decide very closely, because if you want these radical positions that will discriminate against LGBTIQ, which will bring back potentially criminalisation of abortion, that's what we're in order for Victoria.
Absolutely scaremongering. That is not the position of our party. That is not the position of Matthew Guy. And I think, we're all a bit, we're sick of that. Why try and make the LGBTIQ plus community a political scapegoat? That's not what this is about. I've said we will never discriminate. Never discriminate. And certainly, as deputy leader, I think with that categorical support of the LGBTIQ plus community, that we would absolutely not wind back any part of these laws that would water things down to discriminate against those from the LGBTIQ plus community. I give that undertaking, and that's what we will do. To have people say that it is unacceptable. All you're doing is scaremongering and fearmongering and causing more anxiety to a community that's quite frankly over it. It's just not what this is about.
David's quite right. There's no Liberal Party position to wind back abortion rights in Victoria. You talk about doing politics differently, but you throw something out there that just, a cheap shot that...
Julie, this is how it starts. When you have fundamental Christians who are going to be the majority of the party room, and they're going to be the future ministers and the shadow ministers, you can't trust the positions that they hold. They're Christian pastors who are going to be elected, and I'm Orthodox Jewish, and I have my personal religious views, but an Orthodox Jewish point of view never wants the secular law to reflect Orthodox Jewish positions, and that's an integral difference. When you're a religious Christian, you want the secular law to codify your religious positions, and that leaves us all vulnerable. So you can say it's fear-mongering, I say it's real.
Lior, if I could just flip things around a little bit, throw a question at you, and then we're about to wrap up. But we don't have positions, Rachel. You report discrimination against the LGBTIQ community.
Yeah,
I'm not deliberately silencing you. Okay, too.
No, well, can I just say, I think the semantics of this proposed amendment is actually the scapegoat of the religious far right and the Liberal Party to get across their agenda of discriminating against the queer community. But more importantly, I think the fact that we select to sit here in 2022 and talk about potential, even slightly threatened changes to an Equal Opportunity Act is quite frankly embarrassing and a little bit cringy. And I understand why so many young people are turned off politics if this is the state of it. How are we still here? How is it still a discussion? So it concerns me greatly. And I don't think it's something to scoff at. I think it's something we need to keep on top of, because it's a slippery slope.
Nomi mentioned the progressive character of McNamara, and I suppose that's true. But it is also true that in the Caulfield community there are people with different views, and there are some people of faith in this community as well. Lior, James McPherson wrote a piece recently in The Spectator about the Anglican government, and he said that In his view, the Andrews government has demonstrated contempt for people of faith. He says that that's evident through the kind of consistently snarky tone in which it talks about them. He argues that we see this through all sorts of things, including this conversion therapy ban, which is very intrusive in terms of controlling the kind of discussions people have in churches. He talked about Daniel Andrews joining the pylon against Essendon CEO Andrew Thornburn, calling he called the teachings of Thornburn's Anglican Church appalling, which was all very confusing because Daniel Andrews himself is a Catholic, but supposedly the Catholic Church is not anti-gay and anti-abortion. If you can kind of sort out that hypocrisy to me, you've got a sharper brain than I do. How do you respond to the criticism, the kind of general impression? Nomi mentioned some of those mountain police up and down the around the holidays last year, that the Labor Party has become a party that is hostile and has contempt for people of faith.
I reject that wholeheartedly. I mean, Victoria is a wonderful example, and I think in the main day we've had bipartisan support for this multiculturalism, embracing people of many different faiths. We've got a wonderful community, and let's, for one second if we can, talk about the Jewish community and talk about the achievements of this government in funding the Jewish Arts Quarter, in making Holocaust awareness studies compulsory for kids at public schools. We've got a plethora of museums, we've got a plethora of cultural institutions dedicated to people of all different faiths and backgrounds in Melbourne. And it's something that we should all be really proud of, and I'll be really proud, and I am really proud of. But I will make the point, respecting someone's faith, and let's not bring up the previous discussion, there's a difference between respecting someone's faith and embracing the positive virtues and the cultural virtues of that faith, and allowing that person to be a bit. And Daniel Andrews and the Labor Party will not accept people using their faith as an excuse to discriminate, as an excuse to mock or harass. And we've made that pretty clear. And I think we've got the balance right. So, long answer.